This is the same way you care for and propagate a lot of these types of ferns, by the way. So the same care tips applies to so many different types of ferns. Hi guys, my name is Sean. I'm a houseplant enthusiast from Jakarta, Indonesia. In this episode, I'm going to be propagating and rescuing this asplenium. Well, I'm saying asplenium loosely because I don't really know what this is. I bought this as a crested fern. So if I can find the correct ID by then, the name's gonna be on the screen instead. And the reason I picked this fern up a few years ago is because of its beautiful form. It does kind of look a little bit like some of your cacti in its growth. It's very, very organic. It's very, very wild. And the care for this fern is actually very, very simple. I do actually let it dry out completely between watering because for ferns in my very, very humid climate, they can rot. This is what their rot looks like if you overwater it. And if you live in a drier climate, I would definitely recommend for you to keep it slightly moist all the time, not let it dry out completely. And I've moved this indoors and outdoors at various times, and they do require slightly different watering. And just like with most houseplants, you do want to fertilize this lightly and often. This one is relatively pest-free considering the fact that there's many areas that pests could hide in. But we will see later down in the soil level if there are any pests dwelling down below. And the problem with this fern now, it's not looking its best. It's definitely seen much better day. First of all, it's very old. It's maybe like 3 years old and it's needed repotting a year ago and I have not gone around to do it. So it's just been in there strangling itself. If I take this out of its pot now, it's probably gonna be full of roots. So today we're going to be dividing them up, which is one way that you can propagate these ferns. One thing about these guys is that they do mutate. So they put out these spores, and if you propagate them by spore, it's going to take years. But also you're going to get different shapes and sizes of these. So this is why they're so wild. And we're going to be propagating by division, which means that they're going to be exact clones from each other. So I'm going to be setting it free from the pot. And it's so tight, I gotta give it a bit of a massage to get it out. Moment of truth. Moment of truth. Da 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 da. Ooh, it's actually very clean. I was expecting maybe some pests might have hidden in there. But yeah, it is actually a very healthy plant. As you can see from the root system, it is not as fine as a lot of the other ferns, like your Boston fern. And of course, given the fact that it's got like thicker fronds, it means that they do have some kind of water storage. And look at this beautiful stem here. I don't know if you can call this stem on a fern. But this is a very, very sturdy plant. But they grow like this. You see the new frond come out, and then the next one come out and out and out. And then this is one that is about to unfurl next. All right, so this is my favorite part. What are you gonna do next without trying to break too much of these fronds? Because they kind of tangle into each other quite a bit. This is the same way you care for and propagate a lot of these types of ferns, by the way. So the same care tips applies to so many different types of ferns. Now, this is very, very entangled into each other, and it will be impossible to set them free. So one of my favorite things to do is to just cut it up like a pizza. I keep breaking things because it's so easy to break these guys. This is the rotten fronds that's come off. I'm just gonna cut it like this right here. This clump is basically its own plant. Okay. So this is how you divide ferns. All right, thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye. I'm kidding. I'm going to be potting these up and I'm going to be showing you updates. I'm going to give it a pot. Fresh new pot. And then I have a trusted potting media here. My potting media is just one that I use for nearly most of my plants. It's just burnt rice hull, and perlite. This is actually a very, very airy mix. It does dry out very fast because I tend to overwater my plants. These guys can live in many, many different types of potting media depending on how often you're willing to water it. In my case, it is every day. All right, that's it. And if you ask me, can I reuse this media? I would say why not? I don't see any weird fungus, insects or anything on it, and this thing seems to be doing okay. So I'm always a proponent on recycling the potting media. Oh, this came right off. Now, when you have something like this, you could actually turn this into two. If your idea, oh, I keep breaking another one. But this was an unhealthy frond anyways. I just remember that this plant kept growing, like encircling itself until it ran out of space, and it died back a little bit before, and then now it's like doing its thing again. And so it's just growing round and round and round in the same pot, which is very cute. I quite like it. But hopefully at the end of this episode, I get to see you some beautiful, healthy, clumping ferns. And these guys actually look really good in interior decoration to style your living room and things like that. It's quite a statement piece. I really enjoyed it when I had it in my living room. But then at the same time, when I had it there, it was a little bit overwatered. So I did lose quite a bit of fronds. And in my living room, the light levels are a bit lower. With these crested ferns, they actually have a lot of surface area for photosynthesis, which is good. That means that they can take maybe less than ideal light condition, but they still need some light. And because they already have roots on them, we can safely put some slow release fertilizer on them. I use Grow More Osmocod. They're just chemical slow release fertilizers. You can use anything that you want. These guys are very, very adaptable to different nutrients. But when plants have some root system there already, when you propagate them, you should give them some kind of nutrients. But if they don't have any roots yet, I don't see the point in giving them any nutrients. All right, so we've got 3 down. Now I could separate this into like 3 more plants, but you know what? I'm not going to do that because we are running out of space here. I might put it back in its original pot. It's actually a lot more tidier now. Look at that. It's a lot more manageable. And of course, if you give it more time, this will bush out just a little bit more. I'm gonna use its original potting media. Seriously guys, a lot of you don't really grow ferns. I don't know why. Ferns are awesome. They make really good ground cover, and some of them, like this one here, make good statement piece on their own. And you can discover some unique shapes, mutations, different species. There's so many species of ferns to discover. And the thing is, I know a lot of you struggle with the care of ferns. It's really about finding the right placement for them, about watering them correctly. And I forgot to mention that ferns actually do quite well with a bit of airflow as well. If you have like a very still air, like your living room with no air movement, they might suffer quite a bit. Or if you put them on a bookshelf that receives no air movement, because in nature, ferns are quite the epiphyte. So they do, and their spores do rely on the wind to be carried away. So I would say that they're a plant that really responds well to good air movement. All right, there. I will see you guys in a few months. Wish me luck. This is actually a very easy propagation. I really have no trouble imagining these becoming beautiful pots, but it's going to be so satisfying when we see them in a few months' time. It is 3.5 months later, and look at all these babies. I swore I've had 5 pots before. I don't know where the other one went. But these guys were growing in very, very bright indirect light outside above my carport. There was like a little balcony. So it's a very ideal condition. It does get rained on whenever. So it's been raining, I think maybe once every 2 to 3 days. And we do water this every day. So with that porous potting media that we give it, it can withstand a daily or maybe sometimes even twice a day if it rains. Of watering. And look at all these fresh new growth. They all look so good. I'm excited for this. I kept seeing this plant grow and decline over the last few years, and I'm just glad to have separated this. I'm glad to have this done because now I have a few pots of these to share. So this one has grown 2 fiddleheads, one over here and one over here. Look at how beautiful this one is. My gosh, this is really, really insanely beautiful. Imagine a time lapse of it, like just spreading its fronds open. And look at all this just fresh new growth. It looks a little bit like a lettuce. I'm actually a little bit hungry just watching this. Let me show you a few more. This is another one. I remember this used to be so tiny when we propagated. It's a tiny, tiny plant. I believe it only had like 2 fronds, and now it's got like 1 coming along the way over here. And just look at that. I love these kind of crested growth, how it expands over time and takes over an empty space. Do one more. This one has a lot of fiddleheads. This one here, growth point. This one, look at that. So it's come out light green and then it will get darkened over time as it spreads out. Gorgeous. Yeah, I consulted with Weena to see if she knows what this is. Weena is like a local fern enthusiast. She knows a lot about ferns, so if she doesn't know it, I'm sure most of you won't. But if you do, please do comment it down below. It's beautiful, look at that. Yeah, so this is that mother plant. And it's just putting out so many of these like wonderful growth. And it's starting to bush out a bit too. So thank you so much for watching this all the way to the very end. I know that I'm not doing as many of these kinds of videos as I should, because in the beginning of my channel, the inception of my channel, I really am all about propagation and sharing with you updates. I propagate so many different kinds of plants. And if you check out my history in the channel, you can look up a lot of the plant species that I've done these kinds of videos for. So one of the reasons why I'm not making as many of these videos, one, I'm traveling more, but number two, I've already covered most types of plants in their propagations. Of course, we've got some coming along the way. We've got an expensive and rare philodendron. We've got a interesting begonia. I've never really done a Rex type begonia propagation video before. We've got a cacti seedling video. So just to let you know, some are coming along the way. And I want to thank my Patreon member for supporting the channel financially, and also the YouTube members. You guys are really throwing me a lifeline. Like, I'm traveling to the US next week, and my gosh, like, it's an expensive trip. So I took a withdrawal from that, and it really is helping me out in this trip. So thank you so much. And for the rest of you, no sweat, no stress. If you are unable to support financially, just by you watching these videos, it really helps me out tremendously. It's enabling me to do what I love full time. Please do comment down below, like, stay subscribed, and all that good stuff. Oh, and before I let you guys know, it's worth mentioning that I've been busy renovating the back wall. I've been propagating a lot of plants. I've been like growing them out. It's only been like 2 to 3 months, so I'm waiting for things to get a bit more lush. But I'm very excited to see how this wall has become pretty amazing. I know in my last videos, it was looking like just alright. It's just not like the best thing that I'm super proud of. So yeah, I'm very excited about this. Sorry for the overshare. Oh, and one more thing. So if you give it a really cool pot, you can elevate the look of this plant. For example, sorry, that's a bigger pot. If you put this in like a terracotta pot, it's like so amazing. It looks beautiful. And for this larger one here, look at that. This is how I had it in my living room before. So when you give it like a nice pot, it really looks quite amazing. I think a lot of people, if they come into your living room, they're gonna ask, what is that? What is this amazing plant? Because it looks like nothing they've ever seen before. And a lot of people don't really believe that this is a fern. But yeah, this is just something to elevate your plant styling, your plant growing to the next level.